Clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well with 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were smarter, the tail would wag the dog. Wag the dog in politics is the act of creating diversion from a damaging issue. Here at Wag the Dog News, the tail doesn't wag the dog. Enjoy. Clip. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the bell. Everything will be well. 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Alrighty, big tubes, another one of Kip's Clips. Welcome to Wag the Dog News. So today I thought we'd take a wee peek at the RTs. Now with the way the RTs are, the way the RTs be being, there's no DVR facility on, because it's no longer on the boob tubes. So you need to take it as it's streamed. And it's been ages since I've actually touched base with RT, believe it or not. I mean, I tried to watch it this morning. It didn't appear to be doing top of the hour news, but let's wait and see. Terminator. I thought it was Israel. You're in good company.
We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy.
Sucks, like we're suffering the
Ban Russia! Cancel Russia!
another country.
Cancel Putin, he's got cancer!
Joe Biden, in imposing these sanctions on Russia, has destroyed the American economy. So there's your boomerang effect.
Right. Now, you can see that the timestamp is the top of the hour, which it should be, but we're not getting top of the hour news. So I do not know what's happened with RT. If anybody watches this and knows what the feck is going on with RT and why they've stopped their live news broadcasts. Now I know they're banned and all that jazz, but I thought they were still doing the broadcasts and pumping them out. But this seems to be just reruns of all its packages. Which isn't ideal. Buy your oil for Tommy. Right. Okay, I think we can safely rule out top of the hour news from Russia Today. Let's have a wee bit of the BBC's, eh? and I had a salad for breakfast. Tons of onions on it.
The West steps up pressure on President Putin over the war here in Ukraine with an EU plan to ban all imports of Russian oil by the end of this year.
Yeah, by the end of this year.
Proposals, which have to be approved by member states, also include sanctions against individuals, including the head of Russia's Orthodox Church.
What?
As the war here rages on, Russian missiles strike key infrastructure in Ukraine, including 3 electricity stations in the western city of Lviv, causing power blackouts.
It makes a difference for them
some people were
targeting
evacuated from the
2-year-old
besieged
babies.
city of Mariupol. There will be more attempts today to help desperate civilians leave.
In our other main news today,
Nobody's talking about the Azov
political
neo-Nazi
parties take
brigade.
part in a final
That's
day
for that
of
neck of the woods.
campaigning for local elections in England, Scotland and Wales, and elections for the Northern Ireland Assembly. A memorial is to be unveiled to honour HMS Sheffield, hit by an Argentine missile during the Falklands War 40 years ago. And after Liverpool reached the Champions League final, all eyes are on Man City tonight to see if they can make it too.
And coming up on the BBC News Channel, back in the big time. Bournemouth seal promotion back to the Premier League and do it with a game to spare.
I would just like to briefly interrupt this broadcast for a little caveat. Now, I know people don't believe this, but geology is such a valuable skill. You can go to the biggest shitholes in the world and understand there is gold under them there shitholes. And that's what I think you'll find that the fight about the Falkland Islands was all about, and why Britain wanted to hold on to it. It wasn't out of principle or anything of the sort. It was under protecting the resources. So, this is just... I've not looked into this for ages. I just remember it from back in the day. 2014. Oh, come on. Just give me the Google answer. When was oil discovered? 1950s. In 1998. So it was known about the 1950s. That's why manufacturers was willing to go to war. That's why Britain held on to it as a territory when it was just a fucking rocky outcrop in the middle of fucking nowhere. And that's why today we're sticking up a bunch of bricks. Memorialising people's deaths in the name of black gold. Black gold. Anyway, not a lot of people know that.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the BBC.
Hello,
News
good
at
afternoon.
1 live here in Kyiv. Well, the West
Kiev!
is stepping up its
Chicken
pressure on President
Kiev!
Putin over his war here in Ukraine. The European Union has announced it wants to ban imports of all Russian oil by the end of this year. Putin must pay a price, said the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Well, meanwhile, Russian forces have intensified their attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure, including electrical plants.
Why am I not
supplying
surprised
power
you
to
love the old
railways.
Maggie?
Russian missiles hit a number of
Luton
locations,
lion.
including Lviv in the west of this country, which hasn't been attacked for more than a week. Russia does appear to be targeting more key supply
Geology
routes
is
that
just
Ukraine uses to
geography, no, really,
transport
mate.
troops
Geology
and
is
Western-supplied
understanding the
weapons to
rocks,
the east of the
minerals,
country, where much of the
resources
fighting is
that
currently taking
typically
place,
are underneath the
including
ground.
city in the south,
Sometimes on the
Mariupol.
surface gives
Our
you the
first report this
clues and
lunchtime
all
is
that
from our
jazz.
correspondent
Saying
in
that as
the
if I
UK,
fucking
Inwood.
know anything. I know jack shit about
For a city that
geology.
has often felt a long way from the war, last night was a rude awakening. At least 3 electrical substations around Lviv were hit by Russian missiles. Much of the city was left without power. Water supplies were also disrupted.
I don't know where is next target for Russian missiles. Today, Lviv is a huge hub for refugees, and every day Lviv hosts new wounded.
Oh no, Russia! Oh, they're actually killing refugees now! Oh no! The humanity!
It wasn't actually the city centre that was hit, but this place, a rather anonymous industrial park on the outskirts. And it's because of that, an electrical substation. Now, the Russians say that 6 of them were hit in total across the country. They're trying to disable the rail network. And the reason they want to do that is because that will stop the flow of weapons from the west to the east.
The parts of the Russian.
Wow, God, are they actually admitting Russia's actually doing normal warfare? Are they taking a break for raping and killing civilians to actually do something that might benefit their armed forces?
Continue, they will be targeted too.
Roberto, Paul, how
The city
you
of
doing,
Mariupol
guys?
has witnessed some of the most brutal fighting of the invasion. In the last few hours, the mayor said a new convoy of evacuees is leaving the city. They're following a group freed over the weekend from the massive Azov-style steelworks, the last point of Ukrainian resistance. Yesterday,
Very ethnically diverse,
something.
something.
Safety of the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia.
Where's their tokens?
This is what weeks of living
Where's
in the
the
dark,
slaves?
short of food, of water, and under constant bombardment will do to a person. Even the journey to safety was an ordeal.
You enter a tent, take off your clothes, they check your documents. They kept saying that all was well, that they would rebuild and reconstruct Mariupol. There is no more Mariupol.
But Russian preparations are already underway for the annual...
Don't worry, man. Look, just go and look at Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya. It's just skyscraper city now. I mean, the West have just went in there with floods of money and investment to drag these people out of the fucking shithole sand sewers that they stay in. And the same's going to happen. Well, in fact, it will actually happen to Ukraine because they're blonde hair and blue-eyed.
Victory parade on the 9th of May.
And there's a lot of dough in them there hills. The breadbasket of Europe. Ch-ch-ch-ch-ching! It's a jewel. It's a jewel in the crown of the king who cares to wear it.
With many predicting President Putin needs to give people something to celebrate, the window for negotiations could be closing.
Uh-oh.
Joe Inwood.
Mate, get your fucking sound sorted. It sound I can talk, I know, because my sound is beautiful. But you sound like you've got a drone next to your microphone.
Reporting there. So, as we've heard, European Union member states are being asked to approve a complete ban on imports of Russian oil by the end of the year. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said it won't be easy, but it will be done in what she called an orderly fashion so that EU member nations can find alternatives.
Be funny if Russia just turned round tomorrow and went, fuck, he's turning it off tomorrow. It won't happen, but I'm just saying it would be funny.
Alternative energy supplies.
Today we will propose to ban all Russian oil from Europe.
You could see her in a Nazi outfit, couldn't you? You genuinely could. She's got that touch, that air of like that Nazi, that look, chin, no chin, just that Nazi face.
This will be...
Yes, let's all clap ourselves. There's no public here, just clap, 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 clap. Look at that big fucking sycophantic fucking gangbang of fucking the European elite scumbags, man. Look at them all just sitting there. Fucking patting each other's fucking sack.
This will be a complete import ban on all Russian oil, seaborne and pipeline, crude and refined.
Germany will be gutted, man! They had the fucking, the Nord Stream 2 coming straight in, man. They were going to be the oil fucking G's of Europe. Or gas
Ursula
G's.
von der Leyen there. Let's go live now to our correspondent in
Von der
Moscow, Jenny
Leyen.
Hill. Jenny, a big move there by the European Union to ban all Russian oil. What is Moscow's reaction? What are the Kremlin saying about that?
And this morning dismissed these talks as simply plans and repeated what Vladimir Putin often tells Russians himself, that any kind of energy embargo on behalf of Europe will hurt Europe just as much, if not more, than it hurts Russia. You know, there's a really strange atmosphere in Moscow at the moment. This morning there was the roar of warplanes overhead as the military here rehearse for a grand parade and fly past on Monday. That is Victory Day, the day when Russians commemorate Soviet victory over Nazi Germany in 1945. And there's a lot of talk around about what Vladimir Putin himself might do to mark that day. Might he, can he declare victory in Ukraine? And analysts have started to speculate whether he might use the occasion to officially declare war on his neighbour. Remember that he's told Russians to date that this is just a special military operation in the east of the country. Might he, those analysts wonder, also insist on the mobilisation of reserves, possibly even civilians, to replenish depleted Russian troops? Well, this morning the Kremlin dismissed those
possibly,
reports
maybe
as
up
nonsense.
to.
But the Kremlin does have form when it comes to saying one thing and doing another. And that's why, as preparation...
As opposed to the British government, that when they say, stay in your house, we need to do a lockdown, no parties, they do it. They do exactly what they say on the tin. Tony Blair said fucking gonna get Iraq can hit us in 45 fucking minutes. He wasn't lying. He's telling the God's honest fucking truth. I mean, Gordon Brown sold all our gold for fucking pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. David Cameron fucked a pig. Boris Johnson is Boris Johnson. The list goes on and on and on and on. And this fucking horse-face, buck-tooth fucking privileged piece of shit fucking journalist has either got blinkers on, is retarded, or deliberately misleading fucking people with our bullshit. Take your pick. Anyway, let's get back to the shit. Do you know what? I just realised I think I do shout a wee bit less and have to pause it less at Sky News than BBC. Look at this horse-face fucking tramp.
Intensify across the country ahead of Victory Day, so too does the speculation.
Okay, Jenny, thank you very much. Jenny Hill there in Moscow. Well, as Russia intensifies its offensive in the east of this country in particular, the army here in Ukraine are training up as many volunteers as they can. Now, many are heading for the front line, and they had never fired a gun before this war, yet very soon they could be facing the Russian army, as I've been finding out.
Woohoo!
Even if you've never picked up a gun in your life, your country needs you. That's the message to Ukrainians of all ages. In a disused factory somewhere in the capital, Kyiv, it's time for target practice for the men
somewhere
and women
at a
of
secret
Karpatskaya,
location,
a battalion
a
of
Batman's
Very
Batcave.
soon, they'll be heading to the front line,
Bat
where
base.
there'll be desperately needed reinforcements. Uliana was a horse trainer before the war.
Oh,
Her
there's
friend
horse-face
Alexandra
ladies,
was
pal.
a tattooist. In a matter of days, they could be facing the Russian army.
I pick up a gun here for the first time, and I'm doing well.
She's got a touch of the
I like
dyke about her.
here, and I have
She'll be
hit a
alright.
bull's eye. I have the support
Oh
of
my god, man,
family,
she's just
and
doing
that
it for a
helps me,
boyfriend.
because we must all
Hen,
stick
what you
together.
doing? You look less dykey.
We must protect ourselves and our country, and that's what motivates me. The guys who come back from the front line say we are the good
Hi,
guys.
K9, where's the
fight
wooden
and they
guns?
retreat.
Maybe Bobo
that
Johnson's
motivated me.
300
I
million
want to help
could
even more.
upgrade their wooden guns to metal ones.
Their commanders say what they lack in experience, they make up for with their motivation.
Why it's important? Because it's our mother.
Fuck's sake, that guy
We are
can't even
free
grow a
people and we are not
moustache!
slaves. And Ukrainians are going to become slaves. We prefer die.
Hey, Igor!
And you think you
Get
can
some
win this
miracle
war?
grow on that top lip,
We
pal!
going to win this war.
This unit
Smokey
says
and the
around
bandits get nothing
20%
to
of
worry
its
about.
volunteers come from all around the world. Places
Mate,
like
you're
the
in the
United
firing
States, the
range
UK,
with your
Canada,
own team. What you
Colombia,
doing with a
Brazil,
fucking bulletproof
Argentina,
vest on, you
and former
twat?
Soviet republics like Georgia and Latvia.
Is he
Countries
scared one of the
feel
Ukrainians is
profoundly
going to turn around and pop a
Moscow.
cap in his fucking torso?
With Russia's offensive in the east of this country intensifying, Ukraine needs to get reinforcements to the front line as soon as possible, however raw the recruits may be. There's no time to lose. And we have heard in the last hour from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, which is saying that Russia is trying to speed up the tempo of its offensive in the east. We've also heard in the last few minutes from the city of Mariupol, where
reports saying that Russia has pressed fast forward. The soldiers are running about double time. They're like Harry Hill playing football. Just running around. Double time. They're speeding up their offensive. Ooh. Reports just in. Where's your bulletproof vest, mate? You're outdoors now. You could get fucking sniped. But when you're indoors in you're on your own team, you've got a bulletproof vest on.
some 2,000 Ukrainian fighters are making that desperate last stand in the Azovstal steelworks there. Now, the mayor of Mariupol has said in the last few minutes that contact has been lost with those fighters after new heavy fighting with Russian forces at that steelworks. The mayor also saying that 30 children are among the civilians who are still trapped beneath that steelworks.
Why?
That is the latest from me.
Why? Why is there still children trapped in there? Right? There's been hundreds of people evacuated. Surely the front of the fucking queue would be people under the age of 18. aka children! Why are you keeping children locked up in a bunker that's under bombardment when there's a get out of Dodge free card? Is anybody asking this, addressing this? No, don't fucking ask questions. Just watch the wee woman go like that. Wah!
The team here in Ukraine, I'll hand you back to the studio in London.
Ben, thank you very much. A BBC News investigation into the government's Homes for Ukraine scheme has found that some would-be hosts with a reported history of violence are trying to exploit the system. The men have been making contact with women fleeing the Russian invasion to arrange possible placements using
People say, I was saying that jokingly like, is there a little pretty lady come in, I will house it. There's actual fucking dudes that are fucking so stupid they're actually fucking doing it. Oh man, how funny would it be? There's got to be there's a story here, isn't there? A Ukrainian woman is going to get housed by a maniac and get raped or something at some point.
Refugee support groups on Facebook. With us is our correspondent Angus Crawford. Angus, what have you found?
Well, the heart of the problem is the informal way that hosts and refugees are being matched. Now, anyone can register to be a host as long as they go through some...
People are using it like Tinder. Yep. No, don't want her. Don't want her. Don't want her. Don't want her. Woo! I'll be fucking having her. Hey, hen, you looking for a room? That is fucking hilarious, man. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. See the shit you say, fucking tongue-in-cheek, jokingly, bizarro land, thinking, nah. Never fails to surprise you the amount of fucking scumbaggery out there on the tinterwebs, man. Honestly, you think you've seen it all. You think you've seen every layer of scumbaggery and lip and fucking deadhead fucking windy licking idiots are capable of. And yet, boom shakalaka, it still keeps on coming. The internet is the retarded gift that keeps on giving.
Very basic checks. But after that, it's simply up to hosts to find refugees. And as a result, huge numbers of people are turning to these informal, unregulated Facebook groups. We found men who were completely unsuitable. We had one who we found who had criminal...
Sir Fuck-a-lot! Yes, what's your name? Yes, my name is Kevin for Sir Fuck-a-lot. You can call me Sir Fuck-a-lot. Welcome to my house.
No conviction.
You will be staying in the basement. You'll be staying in the deluxe basement suite.
Another who had a history of domestic abuse. We were also told that in some areas of the country, up to 30% of people registering are men in their 40s or 50s who are looking to host women.
Shit, they're onto me! Shit! They're fucking onto me, man! Fuck! All I did was ask for a big fucking 6.5 foot, big blonde hair, blue eyed, fucking legs up to your fucking armpits, tits fucking out to there. I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, I want to help the refugees, fuck's sake. Granted, I want to help the big fucking good looking blondes with big tits, fucking arses you can bounce a fucking 50 pence off. And legs up to your armpits, but what's wrong with that? I'm fucking... Heal the world, make it a better place. A big slutty frat blonde to sit on my fucking face. There are children dying. If you care enough for the Ukrainians, give me a big slutty blonde to sit on my face. Heal the world, make it a better place. A big slutty blonde sitting right on my face. There are children dying. If you care enough for the Nazis, get a big bad blonde to sit on my face. Sorry, man. That's just too good. It's just fucking too good, man. Heal the world. Yeah, man, I'm fucking... Sorry, man, I need to end the broadcast. I've got some social media fucking... Tinder fucking... Hoaching to do.
Single women in their 20s or 30s. We also had reports of deeply unsuitable accommodation, one which was described by a volunteer as so filthy it wouldn't be right to home a dog there. Another bizarre...
Don't worry, it's not a dog, it's a Ukrainian! Have you not seen what Putler is doing to the Ukrainian cities? So... something a step up, just something step down for what you would let a dog stay in as an improvement from Kyiv in Ukraine, or as I call it, Ukraine.
They are now full of Nazi memorabilia, and a final one which we discovered where there was just a mattress.
Yes, they would fit right in. Zdigal, come into my lair. This is brilliant, man. This is fucking. You couldn't make this shit up. They need to bring back that fucking brass eye shit. Remember he done Peter Geddon and all that? They need to do Peter Geddon shit about this, man. You guess this is just comedy gold. I know, like, you'll upset 1,000,001 people nowadays and trigger them left, right and centre by joking about this shit, because of course you can't joke about how fucking funny this shit is, man. And you can't say you want a big fucking Ukrainian blonde to sit in your face. Just because, like, I'll give her porridge and carrots. That's all we can afford in Scotland right now. And no electricity.
Just on the floor for the entire family.
And what's the government doing about this?
It has to be said, first of all, thousands of people have successfully met each other, host and refugees. And
yes! I'm in!
Experience, a good match. The government does reject these criticisms and says in a statement, the Homes for Ukraine scheme has safeguards in place, including Home Office security and background checks.
Angus.
And OK9, it's unbelievable how they like welcome in the Ukrainians with
ahead of elections across the UK tomorrow.
And see the people that are doing this, by the way, they're the ones that step up and start calling everybody fucking racists. Go figure.
In their local area.
But they are
146 councils in major
what do they call it? Unconsciously, subliminally, or fucking whatever it is. Racist bastards by fucking welcome them in, all the big fucking tall blonde Ukrainian biatches and knocking back all the brown boys in boats.
All of the seats in 22 local councils across Wales are up for
Heal
election.
the world.
In Northern Ireland, voters will elect 90 members of the Legislative Assembly. Well, in a moment, we'll hear from James Cook in Glasgow, Hal Griffith in Barry.
The BBC still exists, Groover Dodger. The last couple of days I've done Great Britain News, Sky News, I tried to do RT, but they just seem to be doing fucking repeats. I don't know, man. Maybe all the presenters have been poisoned or something, but they seem to just be doing packages, which is a pile of shite. So, the idea of Waggy Dog News is to, like, mix it up a wee bit. And, laugh about things from many an angle.
And Chris Page at Stormont. But first to our political correspondent, Jonathan Blake, who's at Westminster. Jonathan.
And most of the votes cast in England tomorrow.
Oh my God, what's fucking wrong with his fucking heat?
To elected mayors, largely in London, local authorities providing local services from libraries to bin collection, planning and potholes. But they will also.
I know what it is. He looks like the guy from South Park whose head's like a balloon.
Political picture. So the Conservatives
drugs are bad, okay.
The voters' verdict on their handling of the cost of living crisis for many, the government's response to the war in Ukraine, and the Partygate saga. Labour's leader Sir Keir Starmer is attempting to talk about his party's plans to tackle rising household bills, but he's still facing questions about his own conduct during lockdown. The Liberal Democrats will be looking to take seats from the Conservatives in the south, Labour in the north, and the Greens and others will want to make gains too. There is plenty at stake. A lot of Conservative MPs here are waiting for the results of these local elections to decide whether it's time for Boris Johnson to go. And Sir Keir Starmer is facing a big test too to show that he can lead Labour to success. So once the votes are in and begin to be counted...
Well, everybody in the chat talking about the BBC being dead and all that shit, right? Now, be careful what you wish for. I know I'm not a fan of the TV licence because it funds the BBC, right? But beware of that feeling being harvested for an outcome that's even worse. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm pretty sure I seen this headline in passing. And, there was no PMQs today. Pain in the ass. Love that shit. Wanted to see who was watching porn this week. Here we go. Right, so as I said, right, it's already happened actually. The horse is bolted, so I'm sorry to say, and I've been warning for people about this for years. Shut up about the TV licence. Stop moaning about it and just don't fucking pay it. Just don't pay it and shut the fuck up. Stop allowing your energy and hatred towards that fucking funding of the BBC and the fucking the bullcrap that the BBC is. Stop allowing your energy and hatred towards that to get harvested to produce this shite. Because this is the way it works. And that's why I have a problem with the far right, because they'll tickle your balls by talking about things that actually affect normal people. They don't give a flying fuck. They're using it to mobilise you. Like fucking, like Nigel Vag fucking giving a fuck about fucking foreigners and borders and all that shit. He's fucking shacked up with a pole or some shit. Motherfucker, he should be wearing Rule Britannia fucking boxer shorts and shagging some fucking lady or something. If he was true to his fucking roots. Anyway, I digress. So this is what we're going to get shoved in our arse. And again, no, I don't want to support fucking Guardian. BBC licence fee to be abolished in 2007 and funding frozen. Now you might think this sounds great, but the funding is going to come from somewhere. And what I believe it's going to do, it's going to be incorporated in the council tax. Up here, we think we get free water, but we don't. We just don't have a choice of it. It's incorporated in your council tax, so you have to pay for it. I know down in England, you guys have meters and all that. Whew! Crazy. Can you imagine trying to stick a fucking meter on water up in Scotland? In fact, shh. Fucking motherfuckers. You need to fucking shut up about all these fucking things that they'll do. Like this, for example, the BBC will have to make deep cuts in its programming budgets after the government said broadcasters' funding would be frozen for the next 2 years, with the licence fee abolished completely in 2017. Culture Secretary expected to confirm the cost of an annual licence required to watch live television and remain blah 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 for the next 40 years. The end of the current licence fee funding model for the BBC. Not the end of funding for the BBC, end of the model. Now, the reason I feel the way I feel is because I'm privy to how national broadcasters are funded elsewhere. I remember chatting to somebody over in the Dutchlands, and being very surprised to hear that they also had their version of the BBC, who produced sort of the same kind of idea, programming and all that jazz, state-funded television, but they got their funding through taxation. And I can't remember exactly, I think it might have been through their version of council tax, however it was incorporated. I can't actually quite remember the technical details, but it was incorporated in tax within some sort of a level. And that's what the BBC is going to go down. And the reason the BBC is going to go down that road is because so many people are not paying their TV licence anymore. And they're like, right, okay, how do we get money out of these people? And they understand that the current model can be replaced with a different model, aka incorporating it in either the income tax or the council tax, or whatever tax in some level. I would imagine it would be council tax. I'd imagine it would be council tax. Anywho, and they'll get more funding. So, be careful what you wish for. That's what I would say. And unfortunately, we're fucked. BBC's going to keep going on.
Tomorrow night, plenty at Westminster.
Unfortunately,
we'll be watching very closely.
Well, this is a week of political anniversaries. It's 25 years since Tony Blair came to power at Westminster, and it's 15 years since the SNP took charge of Scotland's devolved administration. What's remarkable, looking back,
is these people on TV with women's voices.
Shift occurred in historical terms. How short the gap between those two events was. Where does that leave us now? Well, Labour have faded over time in Scotland, and this city is an example of that. The SNP now run the council here in Glasgow, once really the heartland of the Labour movement. What's going to happen this time? That, of course, is up to the voters. They will be choosing, as you say, councillors, all 1,200 or so councillors in Scotland up for re-election in 32 councils across the country. And in Scotland, they'll be using a system of proportional representation, not first past the post. They'll be ranking candidates in order of preference. Now, on the face of it, these elections are about local issues such as schools and bin collections and libraries and so on. But they might also tell us something about the wider political picture. What does the SNP vote tell us about the current level of support for independence in Scotland?
Ideally, you would scrap the BBC and start again.
Partygate scandal, especially
it's just unless you have a complete
and then withdrew that demand. And what about Labour?
Implosion of the whole sort of a British,
particularly what they used to call
the British Parliament, I would suggest. You're not going to see any of these institutions ending anytime soon. TV still TV, or like, let's just call it what it is now, broadcasting, because it's not just only in the TV, and the BBC will obviously be moving to like a iPlayer model and all that shit, but they're just too powerful.
Plaid
So,
Cymru and the Conservatives.
doesn't matter who's in charge, they'll always want that arm, that branch of the government. And this is true in every country. I mean, I would love, maybe it exists, I'm unaware of it, but I would love somebody to point me to a country where there isn't some form of state-funded TV, some form of link, because it's just too strong, it's just too powerful.
Like council tax bills.
Like local radio, for example, there's nothing more powerful than somebody with your own accent telling you how to dance.
The Prime Minister Boris Johnson's role in the pandemic, and of course Partygate. One other factor here in Wales is that 16 and 17-year-olds
right,
vote.
Lieutenant
Counting won't begin
Jedi.
here until Friday morning. We should start to get some early results on Friday afternoon.
Not enough gay people on the BBC in Matthew.
Could trigger months of
Your
uncertainty
gaydars
in
broken, buddy.
negotiations over who leads the executive. Our correspondent Chris Page joins us. A critical ballot then for Northern Ireland, Chris.
Yes, you might be forgiven for thinking that politics in this part of the UK tends
I remember
to be
him
very
for Kids TV. He was in the broom
there
cupboard
is a
with Ed the
significant
Duck.
possibility of a huge shift. For the last 5 elections,
Oh my
to
God,
the
he's another one of these
Assembly
guys
Stormont,
that
the
can't
Democratic
open his
Unionists
eyes for some
have
reason.
won the most
Like
seats, and
Biden.
Sinn
If you ever
Féin
notice
has
Biden,
come
he's like Mr.
second.
Magoo,
However,
man.
polls are
Can't he open his
suggesting
eyes? He's
that
like-
there could be
No, it's not
certain
even
support
like
for the
his eyelids are
cross-community
shut. It's like his
alliance party,
eyebrows.
and
It's like
Sinn
his eyes
Féin
are sunk
could
into the
emerge
back of
as
his
the
fucking
largest
head, man.
party. That would put the party's vice president, Michelle O'Neill, in line to become the first ever Irish
This guy's in
nationalist
Northern
to
Ireland.
hold
He's
the
probably
First
on the
Minister's
whiskey last.
position in Northern Ireland. Now, aside from the battle as to who comes out on top, the other issues prominent
Remember,
in this campaign
thumbs it
have
up to
included
appreciate.
the rising cost of living and the
You get a
health
giggle
service.
and
Northern Ireland
appreciate
presently
this.
has
It's going to
the
be here
longest
Monday,
hospital
Friday.
waiting times in the UK by far. But there's serious doubt as to whether a devolved government will be formed at all after this election. Under the power-sharing system, both the biggest unionist and the biggest nationalist party have to agree to go into coalition, and the DUP leader, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, has said his party will be staying out of government unless the Brexit trade border with England, Scotland and Wales is scrapped. Now, whenever it comes to the overall picture, well, there's no doubt that a shift towards Sinn Féin and away from unionism would be a significant moment for Northern Ireland. However, the offices of First and Deputy First Minister are legally equal, so other parties are saying
Gordon
it
go
basically
for
doesn't
turn
matter
behind the scenes.
who wins this election. In any case, this ballot will be critical for the very future of devolution in Northern Ireland, and also given the importance of that Brexit issue, it'll potentially have big implications for the relationship between the UK and the EU.
Well, thanks to all of our correspondents, Chris Page, Harold Griffith, James Cook and Jonathan Blake. Well, for more information on the latest developments and to find out what's happening in your area,
Well,
visit
mate, I know a lot of white on white
news
marriages. I think what you need to understand is when it comes to advertising, advertisers' jobs is to sell shit to the most people. So what they're doing, you can read a lot into it if you want, but what advertisers are doing are reacting to the change of demographics. I mean, like a good advertiser is like a Spock. He looks at the demographic and the fucking thing he's trying to sell and figures out an advert how to tickle as many balls and ovaries and women's nipples as he possibly can. Simples. So in today's Britain, as the demographics change,
were devastating. 20 crewmen died and
the percentages of fucking white, brown, black, yellow and everything in between changes.
Becoming a defining moment of the conflict. Today, a memorial in honour of those who served on the ship
their adverts. It's not that they went woke or anything, it's just they're advertising to the majority.
It was the moment
I would argue
of the Falklands War struck home.
I mean, you're a bad advertiser if
ships to be sunk in 1982.
if you don't do that.
20 lives were lost, many more were wounded.
Argentine newspapers today described the super-étendard as the avenger of the Belgrano. The attack on the Sheffield as a devastating blow to the enemy.
Today, the survivors have a chance to remember their friends who didn't make it. Dave Harrington was a stoker and in the engine room when the missile struck.
It was a thump, that's all I can describe it as. And about 2 seconds later, a fireball. It totally covered me. And one of my nightmares regularly now is that I can still see myself with my hands up to my face, screaming and seeing my reflection in the flames. It was quite harrowing, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, and you still have nightmares now?
Oh God, yeah, regularly.
This will stand as a tribute to those who died, made out of Sheffield.
Died in the name of black gold, motherfucker.
Of course, it's a memorial. There are people whose partners or parents died that day in May 1982, but it's also a reunion. A lot of these people haven't seen each other for 40 years, and so it's a chance for them to get back together once again.
Yeah, I did.
Dave Harrington suffered 20% burns, but he was also diagnosed 17 years later from PTSD. That's why normally he spends the anniversary on his own.
I've met a few people so far from the Sheffield. It's very emotional, very emotional. Got me hanky just in case.
And
I'm sure I will.
Looking at the names, of course, is quite
it's heartbreaking to think of all those ones that we lost. It's very emotional. That's the only way I can put it. It's very emotional.
It was the first British ship lost in action since the Second World War. It's a day old comrades will never forget. Phil Mackey, BBC News at the National Memorial Arboretum.
The governor of the US state of Oklahoma has signed a law which bans abortion after 6 weeks
Of course, it was all Maggie Thatcher and principle and all that.
Suggested that a historic law which legalised abortion in the United States could be overturned, sparking protests. Abortion has been a legal right across the US for almost 50 years.
Randy also did. He served in the Falklands War, but granted he was obviously, like, there's no question that he was ever. Or did you see Chappelle getting attacked?
Seemed to be unharmed after returning to the stage at the
I think it was a big tranny bouncing in with a big fake dick. That
protest last year when a programme he made for the streaming service was accused of being transphobic. A charity is calling for all medical students to receive better training on eating disorders after a survey suggested that patients did not receive adequate care.
Midget James on how tiny people, James.
People in the UK have an eating disorder, according to the charity Beat. But there are no current requirements for medical schools.
They served 8 tours of duty on Epstein Island.
2/3 of the people they surveyed who have an eating disorder felt their GP did not understand how to help them. Zoe Conway reports.
Give them a chocolate bar! I'm taking the piss, man. I know
Illness
there's
is
a
a
lot
way to
more.
cope with difficult feelings or beliefs.
Joss had anorexia for 5 years. She says it was a way of coping with the sexual abuse she suffered as a child by a non-family member.
I was quite skeletal. I was just very
Skeletal?
depressed.
Was that when you no had enough Skittles?
My day was just pretty much filled with numbers.
Did she mean skeletal?
Much information. It was all about just like the
Didn't he
exercise
teach
I was
these
doing,
English
food
people
I
how
was
to speak
eating.
English?
Her family
Fuck's
knew
sake.
nothing of the abuse. The illness came out of the blue.
Was this
Oh, it's
an
a-
incredible shock? Walking into this house,
That's a wee
it just
shame.
feels like such a loving family environment.
Oh, it's a complete shock. I thought these things happen to other people, not to you. And yeah, we just never saw it coming at all. When suddenly they say, you know, if Joss can put on so much weight a week, and I was doing the maths and I was thinking, well, to get to the target weight, that's going to be...
Nothing
3
better than
months.
having a lovely middle class infrastructure behind you to fucking drag you out of the
Joss feared for her
depths
own
of
life. She grew
despair.
increasingly desperate.
I sought out my GP's number of her own home, and I just rang her at her home one evening and kind of put my foot down.
I think that's about the only way you can get a fucking GP appointment right now, man. Never mind a fucking dentist appointment.
For me, because the services just keep putting me on waiting lists and just keep telling me either your weight's not low enough or we don't have room for you.
The charity Beat says medical schools need to do a better job of training doctors.
At the moment,
2/3 of people who go to their GP report that they don't get the referral for assessment that they should get, that the NICE guidelines say they should get. So the medical professionals, they want to do a good job. But
what about the bad guidelines? You know, you get the NICE guidelines, then you go... What the fuck? Why did... What? Oh, God. You know it's a fucking pile of shite when they have to abbreviate it to NICE. Do you know what I mean? You can't just have guidelines and somebody read them and go, oh, those guidelines are nice, by the way. No, you need to get some sort of a guidelines and fucking concoct some fucking abbreviation. NICE. God even fucking knows. National Institute Correctional Education. Just pulled that out of my arse. But something along those lines.
the system that's letting them down and eating disorders patients down is the medical training establishment.
The General Medical Council says that eating disorders are a complex, high-risk area of practice that should be covered in every doctor's education. We've asked medical schools to develop a common approach to improve how eating disorders are taught at medical school. Joss has turned her life around. She's now working for the NHS as a psychologist.
I am very, very proud of Joss. She's come so far. You know, she's accomplished so much. I don't know how to put it into words, really. We really
I think you've just wrote song lyrics. You've come so far, I don't know how to put it into words.
Well, for details of organisations which offer advice and support about eating disorders, go online to bbc.co.uk/actionline. Football, and Liverpool have made it through to the Champions League final in Paris later this month. The second leg of their semi-final was far from straightforward against Spanish side Villarreal, but they eventually went through 5-2 on aggregate. Liverpool could face Manchester City in the final. They must first get past
Shit, I want to watch that as well.
Ollie Foster reports from Spain.
The final score here last night might have told otherwise, but Liverpool's players and their supporters...
I'd love to show yous, man, but it just gets fucking... Copyright! Copyright! That's a load of shite! Copyright! It just gets copyright strike. And I want to be watching that as well. Aye, well, the guidelines that aren't getting followed are fucking, they're a bit stupid. They're no nice if they're not getting followed. But thank fuck I'm not in dire need of a GP appointment. But I need a dentist appointment, man. And it's like, I don't even get me started. Actually, well, fucking no stop moaning. No stop moaning. Let's see. What's this guy saying? Right.
As we face severe security challenges in Europe. The Euro exercise is also an important part of Finnish-British bilateral defence cooperation, which has been developed with...
What is it with these people in the audio, man?
The planning and execution related to this exercise is a showcase of the development of our cooperation and of our military interoperability.
K9, I've got Real Madrid down for a win, mate. I got them at over threes. Madrid for a win.
Our strong defence relation supports the stability and security of Northern Europe, and I would like to use this opportunity
That's the shit I can
to thank
show.
my colleague Bill Wallace for the staunch support for our cooperation and also for the United Kingdom's leadership as Europe is facing major security challenges due to Russia's illegal attack on Ukraine. Together we are stronger, and Finland is proud to have such a friend as the United Kingdom on its side.
Real Madrid over threes, 3.25. I prefer the decimals, to be honest.
Thank you for hosting me.
A lot easier to figure the fuck out.
Here in
And it was my £5 free bet.
I can't tell you that at times
I'll
like
have a
this,
wee tenner in the pot when Real Madrid
stand for freedom,
batter City.
human rights, respect for human rights, the rule of law, and open
But
societies need to stick together.
let's see what they're at now.
And underpinning all of that is the security that our armed forces deliver us.
Oh, they've done a wee bit, no much. But City's it too, man.
They learn how to integrate. They learn how to complement each other's strengths. Because only by doing
worth a wee
that can we
five
send a
spot,
strong
innit?
message to those people who would threaten our way of life and the freedoms that we enjoy. I'm delighted.
Afternoon, Alan. How you doing, mate?
Obviously, to
What
see
do you
our
mean
troops,
bloody Spider-Man's
in
in
action.
it?
Was great to go and
Because
not
I was
only
singing
meet the
Spider-Man
British
or
troops
something.
here, but also the Finnish troops, and to look at some of their equipment as well, and to know that first of all they're all enjoying the
What's
exercise,
happening with
which, doesn't
QPR?
always happen, and I
Jonathan?
think also that they are having a great success in learning and improving their ability to.
Oh, do you know what, K9? I kind of fell away from the game in the second half because I was doing my show, man. And the second half seemed to be a killer.
And that demonstration.
But I'll be honest, if I was going to put dough on, I would have put money on Liverpool. We were getting no too bad odds for them, by the way, away from home. And they're getting every cunt doing right now, man.
And our values, and I think.
I want Liverpool to win the league.
Exercises already this year.
Just to get it round City. Because I'm sick of fucking City fucking dominating, man.
Soon, and I think we are doing an awful lot of work together, and you know that alliance.
QPR have had their moments over the years, mate.
Both at land and on sea. It wasn't that long ago that both Ati and
I remember QPR's glory days for very early on in the Prem, when the Prem first kicked off. That's when I used to watch it religiously. I was a wee guy and fucking knew all the players and everything. And QPR had some team, man, with big Les Ferdinand and all that.
But what's brilliant is the professionalism of both.
And he's had some great players over the years.
I think they've even got an attack on.
Which I'm unable to name right now. Apart from big Les Ferdinand.
You know, that is a really important lesson for all of our troops.
Shit.
And the stronger we are in our integration, the stronger we are.
This guy is borderline Jabba the fucking Hutt, and he's a fucking. Where's your chin? Where's your neck, you fat bastard? Come on, the pool, Liverpool. Are you pool? Alan, do you know what I done? Like, this is no one word of the lie, right? This is the best I've ever done in betting ever. I won 190 quid. Right, I took a fiver. Won a football bet, an in-play football bet. I think that got me up to like 17 quid. I then put on an accumulator, and unknown to me, I actually bet on esports. But I was doing in-play bets and just betting on all the favourites and doing big fucking accumulators. Won that, and then I was like, oh, what's this fucking esports fucking shite? And I realised you could watch it. No, I was just watching cunts playing computer games. And done a good few in-play bets, just betting on favourites, just playing the odds, so didn't know anybody for Adam. And got up to 190 quid. I mean, I was at 190 £100. I'm like, I'm whipping the £100 out right now because I want to walk away with fucking money up. Then gambled back 40 bills and walked away, or kept 50 in for future gambling exploits. But it was a good day.
Some of the Finnish armoured infantry equipment, which is used by many NATO countries. So there is not in any way, in my view, a gulf at all. Often level pegging, often some stronger than others. So I don't think that would be a barrier in any way. I think you know, it would be for the military experts to judge exactly, but I don't think that is an issue at all. I think also the shared standard of training, the shared humanitarian humanitarian rule of law.
Now, is the penny dropping for people? We're now supplying Ukraine with tanks and armoured vehicles.
I don't think there's any issue.
That isn't for defence.
It's really about the
it's for attack. I love the way that they pure demonise Russia for killing people in war, and then what I've noticed over the last few days tuning into the boob tubes, the Sun newspaper quite happy to show you all the video footage of fucking Russian tanks getting blown up left, right, and centre, and you're like,
some countries have their sovereignty respected and
can I
others
have
don't.
one without the other?
I'm afraid we take a different view, whether you're big or small.
I know, mate. I want see if Rangers go through, mate. It'll be amazing. Even better if West Ham go through as well. Although I'll be honest, I would rather play fucking Eintracht for winnability wise. It's going to be some night, man. It's going to be some fucking night. Rangers come out the blocks, get an early goal, boom, straight back in the game. Eintracht, Leipzig have lost their last 2 games in the Bundesliga, which obviously good. Alan, tune into that Great Britain news, mate. That they've got Vaj. They've got Vaj out doing what?
In fact, you seem to know more about the Finnish government.
That Patriot guy, but I fucking forgot his name, mate. I've not seen him about in ages.
We in 2016 signed.
You'll get Nigel Vaj out in his boat, mate, keeping an eye on all the dinghies. It was Active Patriot. That's who the guy's name was. So him and Nigel Vaj are doing the same shit.
Able to interoperate so we can help each other, both operating and exercising. And obviously different countries in the Nordics have a different view of operations versus exercising, and there's a nuance there in the sort of legal language. But look, it's inconceivable that Britain would not come to the support of Finland or Sweden if it was ever attacked, right? Without any big formal agreement. We are European countries who share the same values, who have deep, long histories. You know, a significant number of the British population seem to be descendant from Vikings anyhow. So, you know, we have that cultural link. It is, you know...
Alrighty, Shug, my man. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Finland and Sweden, no matter where they were with the NATO debate.
Oh, you like a Shug.
With agreements. And I think that is what really binds us. You know,
there's my...
oh
no, hold on, there's my bit.
A long way away from Britain, but fundamentally a country that's chosen to be European.
There's my bet for tomorrow. Get a $5 on rate. Well, get a $5 free bet. By the way, see Bet365 if he's do online gambling, right? And I don't put any money into Bet365. I prefer Sky. Sky Bet gives you better odds.
That's actually
and for me, it's more user friendly. So I use Sky Bet. Sky Bet doesn't give you the early payout, which means if the team goes 2-0 up, they just pay you out, which is quite good. But you do get shorter odds. But if you do sign up for Bet365, every so often and on the big games and all that, like every Champions League semi-final and cup finals, FA Cup and shit like that, they'll give you a £5 free bet. When you batter in, just rattle it on the favourite. A lot of the time it will come in, they take their £5 back, you get the rest of the winnings, and you've got a few quid to play with. And with the cost of living going up nowadays, we need to learn how to economise when we're fucking scrounging a bit. But aye, that's why I don't give Bet365 any dough because the odds are shite. The early payout can be a draw, but it's not enough for me. I prefer the odds because I do accumulators typically, and but I get the free £5 bet flung in every so often. I mean, I got one last week. Who was it for? Oh, I can't remember. It was one of the Champions League, but I stuck it on the favourites, won. Got some dough. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's where I got the money to get the 190 quid fee. And then you go to in play. And look, there's e-soccer live.
I would like
so what I would do, right,
is speculate on the possible
that's almost done.
Moves Russia
just
might,
get
might
short
do,
odds.
Might do
just play the odds, because the games are only a couple of minutes long. So you batter in, fucking voting the favourite.
That's fake news.
I was sticking a lot of dough on, so I was...
Tanks which are moving in Finland are in
Anyway,
this region.
I was playing the odds. I'm not encouraging people to fucking gamble, by the way. It's a terrible fucking habit.
Well, I think
but also incredibly fun if you like your soccer.
Britain will do whatever it needs to.
Which I do.
And Sweden. And other countries. That
look, it's
that are in this
changed.
region. We would do whatever we need to do to support them. And I'm not going to be speculating
but you
about
can actually go and...
specific
What game was that?
You know, one
Was it
thing
this
you
one
know
here?
about Britain when it comes to defence.
Right, if I manage to... Like, it's shut down now, it's closed
we
down
do
the
stand
odds.
by our friends
Oh no,
and
you can't
partners.
view it,
We
it's
were
finished.
Some of the first countries in Poland when Belarus was, you know,
Oh shit, you need to
migrants
actually
across the
deposit
border.
to...
We sent 100
Ah, fuck
Royal
you, I'm
Engineers
not depositing
the
money to watch the
Belarusian
match.
Polish border to help the Poles. We, you know, we are here, I think, for the first time with a tank squadron in Finland. You know, still,
Yay, we've got tanks
in the heart of
Woohoo! Tanks! Huh! Yeah! What are they good for? Getting rid of COVID. Sing it again! War! Huh! Yeah! What is it good for? Getting rid of COVID. Sing it again! Who the fuck? I think Russia and Ukraine should have started murdering each other way sooner. Way sooner. We should encourage bloodshed way before. We should have been giving them nuclear fucking bombs. Should have been arming them for day-daw. Because that's all we needed to get rid of COVID. Who defunct it? Lovely wee war. Sprinkled with some Putler and COVID. Over. Done. Dusted. Don't need to worry about it.
So I have to have the answer in English or in Finnish. That's more difficult. I see it's important to hear such messages we just heard from my colleague Ben Wallis from UK.
Do you know what, Shug? See you talking about the Russian tanks having UK parts. That would not surprise me. I'm trying to think. I used to know all the details. I'm pretty sure it was either the Korean or the Vietnam War.
Process. So
where
these kinds of messages we just heard are very much.
Let me get this fucking right. I'm pretty sure it was a Ford company. Fords were supplying both sides. Ford had a factory in Russia. Basically, Ford had a factory in one of the Soviet states, and that was what it was, the Ford factory. I think it was Ford. I'm pretty sure it was a iconic American company. I think it was Ford. Was supplying the commies. And the Americans were getting supplied with Ford as well, and some of the pilots were struggling to tell the vehicles apart because they looked so fucking similar. So it doesn't surprise me, mate, that again it's global corporate fucking corporate warfare, isn't it? Corporations don't give a fuck who's fucking killing each other with their weapons. They're quite happy to fucking. This has happened, I would imagine, a lot of times.
Military, British made laws have helped decimate Russian T-72s. So, you know, I think what we have learned from this is the so-called Russian military hardware is not really much worth the money they've paid for it across the board. They're currently being taken apart by cheap drones, poor leadership, and equipment that doesn't really work. So,
look, Lion, have you ever actually met any Russians, man? They're fucking arseholes, like all East Europeans, man. They're all fucking fuckwits. The vast majority of them.
Right, it's 14 tanks.
Regardless if you're Ukrainian or Russian, equally as fucking stupid.
In NATO, there are 30 nations.
You never, like, fuck's sake, this place is fucking dripping with East Europeans. Go and hang about with them for 5 minutes, mate. See if you fucking like the Russians then.
The Latvians, the Estonians, you know, we're all here, and that creates our mass. and it's the mass and the friendships.
Oh, you're right, Shog. There was something today with Ford and the Führer, man. I'm pretty sure there was.
Finland, it's attacking Britain, it's attacking America, it's attacking...
But you need to remember those pictures of the Queen doing the fucking Nazi salute and all the royal family doing Nazi salutes and all that. You know what I mean? So like, every cunt fucking loved the Nazis back in the day. It's just in retrospect that that's been scrubbed through the record.
Around 20% or so of the Finns have been supporting the NATO membership.
Shit. I take it back, Martin, if you met cool Russians.
Russia attacked Ukraine on 24th of
True,
February.
man.
It changed very much
I'm going on my
in Europe and,
experience with Poles and Poles in this country.
And also the decision makers.
And I met quite a lot of them.
The former policy
in intimate circumstances, if you know what I mean, like family parties and shit, and they were fucking arseholes. To me, anyway.
But now the situation
you know what I mean? But it was just like because I was shagging a pole, and they didn't like it.
At the moment, and of course the government of Finland. And,
not all Scots are drunks that would stab you, Martin, but 99.9% of cats would agree.
I think it's time for conclusions is now in the coming weeks.
I take it back. There must be nice Russians out there. I've just no met them. In fact, I'm basing my opinion on Polish people, not Russians. So I'm lobbing all East Europeans into one big bracket.
No meillä näitä harjoituksia ja tapaamisia on ollut aikaisemminkin, että vaikka nyt heti vetää
I do know that your typical Pole hates Russians.
Ihan vielä tässä vaiheessa, mutta me suhtaudumme
I don't know how similar they are or aren't, to be honest. I assumed that they were relatively similar in the sense that Scots and English are relatively similar.
You're watching Sky News. It's 7 minutes past 2. We are watching a live press conference in Finland with the Defence Minister Ben Wallace and his counterpart,
Why is he in Finland?
Of Finland. They are talking about joint military exercises that have been taking
place.
What
the fuck's alright? Because where they are.
NATO.
Alright, Finland's got a border with Russia. I don't know if you know this. Hold on, let me
and also about
show you
the link between these exercises and what's going on in Ukraine. Let's rejoin the Finland Defence Minister, who's now speaking in English.
A lot of people don't know this, but it's Kaliningrad, I think it's called.
Actually, I'm going to talk with
it's like a wee Russian enclave.
Counterpart next week, and I believe that we will change a word about this issue also.
Thank you.
Oh shit! Got that wrong actually, but they do share a border with Russia, St. Petersburg, and all that jazz. So, so is this aggressive? NATO holding military drills right next to Russia's border. I mean, if the boot was on the other foot, and what I wanted to show you was this wee enclave. There, it's there.
And
so just this wee bit here.
Exercises in Europe and Russia does that as well.
Kaliningrad, I think it's Kaliningrad.
To our exercise program already last year.
Very historically famous. Via World War II and the battle that went on for Stalingrad, it used to be called. It was called Kaliningrad.
We exercise to keep our defense in shape. Well, I don't know exactly what has Russia said of this exercise, something exact, so it's difficult to comment more at this stage, sorry.
See, since they've invented those wireless hoovers, hoovers a joy, man. I love hoovering.
Well, that might be
so good to sit back in a hoover place.
They would invest more on their military forces in this part of Europe, and they have right, of course, to do that. But I would.
The Nazis did know how to dress.
Change our attitudes here, and of course, we are interested to see what happens, but I wouldn't say that has a big role in our consideration here.
This is one boring ass fucking interview.
Well, as I've said, we will support Finland, whatever choice as a country you make. I mean, that is, the nature of the open door policy. If, of course, as I've said, would it add to NATO? Yes, it would. The actual speed, I think there's a.
Right, I don't think Finland's in NATO, and I think they're asking. I think they're talking about getting Finland and Sweden to join NATO.
But certainly, as a nation that is well exercised with NATO countries.
Oh, that's right. I heard people talking about this the other day. So, NATO's incorporating the most of the EU into a military alliance. Right? So, if every member of the EU is in NATO and it's got a military alliance, who's in charge? NATO or the EU? So, some people have theorised this could be the death of the EU, which maybe was one of the outcomes Putler was hoping for, as an adverse reaction to the expansion of NATO. I think.
Alliances mean
there we
security.
go, aye, 2 days ago, so it's been happening for a while. Finland and Sweden
history shows.
Can count on Germany for protection.
History where countries predominantly lost, it was when
Finland
they didn't have friends
to
and
NATO
allies.
within days.
Alliance means security. That's why I served in northern Germany in my time as a British soldier to help provide security for West Germany.
This is obviously a way of getting it around Russia, I would say, in response to, well, Russia won in Syria, right? When Syria was happening, I was wetting my knickers thinking it was World War III and it could end up with them throwing nuclear bombs at each other, because it was basically America and the West on Russia, more or less directly. And remember the problem they had with the no-fly zone and all that as well. The exact same shit in Syria that's happened in Ukraine. That's why I'm not worried about nuclear fucking war over Ukraine. It's a pile of shite. It's rhetoric. It's rhetoric. You can't find Putler actually saying the word nuclear. Right? You can fucking find interpretations of the translation that say that he might be suggesting nuclear bombs, but you can interpret a million and fucking one different ways, right? And it's just getting spewed, bukakied everywhere that he's threatening nuclear war. Nobody's questioning it. That's when you know it's bullshit.
More NATO forces on his borders, and that's exactly what he got.
I'm not worried about nuclear war when it comes to Ukraine. It's basically the Russian Federation and the European Union stroke the West fighting, battling over Russia over control of the European Union's breadbasket. Russia already has the European Union by the balls through gas supply, and the European Union are shit scared, and the West are as well because it gives them heavy influence. Shit scared of Russia having more influence over the European Union through wheat, sunflower oil and the many other products that the European Union and other places of the world rely on Ukraine for. Now, everybody's getting hot with a cost of living fucking thing right now, man. See once this Ukraine thing pans
invested a
out and it starts
defense,
affecting the supplies of grain and shit like that, wait till you see the prices of things fucking skyrocketing. Never mind if you can get them.
Okay, thank you so much. And now we have already scheduled one-to-one.
Anyway, so
thank you very much. Thank you.
I've just sorry, I'm just trying to. I'm getting as me just getting up to speed with what's fucking going on.
Of the UK and Finland
A wee bit behind the times, but hey ho, get there in the end.
Also, NATO involvement in those military exercises in Finland. While the two defence ministers were speaking, Ben Wallace and Antti Kaikkonen, the Prime Minister of Finland had this to say. Finland, which is considering whether to apply for membership of the NATO alliance. The Prime Minister, Sanna Marin, said that keeping any transition period as short as possible would be important for Finland's security. The key issue is to keep the ratification process as short as possible.
Looking lying, man, you fucking really got a fucking...
The Prime Minister speaking
in you fancy Putler, man. What the fuck? Why do you love Putler so much? He's as big a douchebag as fucking every other world leader.
Ratification period can take up to.
You just fall for the... He sometimes says shit every now and again that fits your worldview.
While their application
who am I to stop you, man?
Through the Prime Minister
Go Putler.
Reiterating that, wanting that ratification period to be as short
the cost
as
of
possible
living
if they were to apply
is
for
deliberate.
membership
The sanctions
to the
will
NATO
cause
alliance.
mass death in Africa
we'll have
too
more
from
the Defence
famine.
Minister Ben Wallace a little later on in the programme.
Never. It's not
Now, our top story today is about consumers
and they know what they're
facing
doing.
the biggest
See, mate,
year-on-year rise
that's
in retail prices in more than a decade, putting the cost of living crisis
PJ.
right at the centre of the elections.
PJ, that's my problem, right? No, my problem. Like, that's what sticks in macro. A lot of these things, the consequences, the very fucked up consequences, are very predictable, in my opinion. I think I was fucking shouting about universal credit the other day. That's a cult in my... It's an absolute cult of junkies and drunks and down and outs and people unable to manage money.
All sorts of other costs for
here. So, junkie, here's a big pile of cash. Make sure you pay all your bills and your rent, and don't go out and buy a big fucking pile of drugs and manage to stay alive. It's mental. It's absolutely fucking mental. So you can see the effect that it'll have amongst junkies, drunks, small landlords.
We go across the country talking to people on their doorsteps. Everybody is talking about the fact they
small
can't pay
landlords having to pay all sorts of fucking crazy money to get people kicked out and get money back, and they lose rent, and do you know what I mean? There's a kick-on effect there. So not only is it fucking up the down and outs and the junkies and the drunks, it's fucking up the middle class who small landlords, you know, they might own one or two extra properties and use that as income and shit. They'll get fucked.
Well, increasingly we're finding.
Aye, Martin, that's it, mate. Like that is a very predictable consequence. Just as a lot of this stuff is very predictable consequences.
They're worried about the crisis in the NHS. They don't like the fact that they won't stand up to the water.
My Dan, I mean, like, I know people. I know most people in this country have blinkers on and think Russia and just woke up one morning and decided to invade Ukraine for no reason.
With a windfall tax on
to believe that narrative, you must have a memory span of a fucking rat.
And the problem is,
no, it's a gnat or a rat,
making it
or
worse.
both.
Raising taxes.
A gnat on a fucking rat. There we go. Two birds, one stone.
All the details of what is being contested in tomorrow's local elections in England. 4,359 seats are.
Let's do another wee 10 minutes. Fuck it. I want to show you something funny. It keeps getting advertised and it's funny. It's this pure Geordie woman like, why aye man, I show you from both sides, so I do Pit. The Geordie accent doesn't lend itself to like a fucking authoritative figure in politics at all, man. Right, Paddy, no wonder what my mum's cooking for my tea. Hey, Pitman, I just got to show you from both sides, so I am Pitman, why? And no offence to Geordies out there, man, it's a beautiful accent and stuff, but it certainly doesn't lend itself to fucking some cunt from Mecca. Why, man, I'm dead clever, so I am Pit. Sorry, man, shouldn't say that shit out loud. Why, I do actually love the accent. I think it's one of those lovely, warmy, friendly accents ever. But I just, in my mind, God only knows why. Maybe the only Geordies I've met in my life have all been stupid. I don't know. No, I'm only joking. I love the Geordie's pet.
So welcome. A big chunk of our audience still listening on DAB+. Good afternoon to everybody who's still doing that. But if you have access to a telly, then this is where you want to be right now. Stick it on, if you're on Sky, 526. Just punch it in there. 526. You'll see all of this in glorious images, pictures, Technicolor. 627 if you're on Virgin. And the list goes on. Just search it through your normal way and you will find us on the telly now. We've been in Vision for a long time through various television apps. But now we've moved over to a wider platform and that is where you will find us. Great to have your company. More comment from you on
You've moved over to
Durham
Council
and
TV,
Co.
basically.
Liam says both Boris's birthday bash, there you go, and Starmer's curry night.
Oh, K9, I'm not going to bother voting, man. It's an absolute...
Let's settle on that, can
Each
we?
to their own if
Boris
people
didn't
feel that they
organise
can
his
make a
own
difference,
surprise
but
attack, and Keir wasn't exactly doing the
I think it's a pile of shite, so I won't be participating.
Enough. So yeah, don't fine either, or fine both.
Each to their own, man. People,
back to how green is your home
people will look down their nose at me for not participating, and then fucking actually daring to have an opinion about what a fucking farce it is.
Good afternoon.
Like I can stand here and see it's a pool of shite. I don't need to dive in and swim in it to confirm it's a pool of shite and see if I can fucking gnaw through enough chunks to turn it back into water. Fuck that.
That's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah.
But after installing it and realising
Where's this
that you've got
outfit?
to upgrade your radiators by 25%, you've got to upgrade the pipework, your house has got to be super insulated.
Right, it's going to be on now, I bet
and
you.
so
Or they're showing this guy's adverts now.
Fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
You see the way they're angling this?
That's
Yes,
Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 to 6
uncensored.
on GB News.
What is it? Fucking
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie.
Piers Dickhead.
Make sure that
Piers
you join us
Morgan or
Monday to
whatever his
Thursday,
name
10
is.
a.m. until midday, right here on
Oh,
GB
they are.
News
They're going to
called
show you the advert. Come on,
We're
show
not
us.
afraid
Why
to
I
talk about
pit?
the topics that
Why
matter
I?
to
We
you,
do really
all
well,
the big
man. So we
topics
do.
that
We do a
always
really
matter.
do good
We
debate,
cover
man. So we
absolutely
do.
everything.
Let's
From
cut
the
that
breaking
doobie
news
doobie
stories of the
doobie.
day
Ain't
to
cool.
Law and Order, what's
Why
going on
I,
the
man?
channel. We're not afraid to hold
I
people
wonder
to
what my
account.
mum's cooking for my tea.
your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So
Like,
make
it
sure you
looks
join
like
the
a
conversation
cartoon
with us. 10
character,
a.m. until
man.
midday,
If you
Monday
were
to
to draw like a
Thursday,
wee
to the point
slimy
on GB News.
conservative cunt.
Dan Wootton, join me Monday to
Oh, this is
Thursday
a
from
talking
9
gay
to 11 for the
conservative guy.
feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns.
Aye,
Bring you
of
a
course,
sharp
free
take on the
speech.
day's biggest
Free
stories.
speech. Right, can I come on and say fuck cunt bugger? So shut the fuck up, free speech, you fucking moron. Oh shit, you can't even pause this shit.
That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
See, they're live or nothing at all. They don't do the DVR thing, punks. Ah, we're not getting the fucking Geordie lassies.
The first group of civilian evacuees from the steel plant in Mariupol have been taken to safety following months
She's
of being
definitely
trapped
employed
underground
for her
as
brains.
The city was reduced to rubble by Russian troops. Repeated appeals to get women and children to safety had been ignored despite desperate negotiations. It was the first time a humanitarian...
Well, that's the bullshit. We've heard for days that there's been people coming out. Hundreds of people. Why haven't they prioritised the children? Why are they keeping children in the bunker?
Two alleged war crimes have also unearthed evidence of men and boys being raped by Russian soldiers in reports the international body says are the tip of the iceberg. Meanwhile, Russian forces have again struck the western city of Lviv, close to the Polish border, as Moscow today boycotts a UN Security Council meeting, showing a nation increasingly unwilling to compromise or cooperate with a global rules-based order. Any signs that the war could begin to subside seem years away, as Russian ally Belarus also begins ominous snap military drills today, sparking fears they could back Putin's offensive.
Do you know, the last time I voted, it was the EU Brexit vote, and the reason I voted is my girlfriend at the time, who was Polish, voted to stay inside the EU because she was scared about getting kicked out and told to go home, which just wasn't the case, but she'd swallowed that line. And I felt I had to counter her vote because I didn't think Polish nationalists should be voting. Call me xenophobic, but see, in a fucking vote with the British fucking public voting about fucking our country remaining or going, fucking standing in one leg and hopping, I don't think a Pole, and she was my girlfriend at the fucking time. I was with her for about 5 years. It wasn't like a fucking small thing. And I didn't think she should be voting, especially when her priorities lay in Poland. And she was voting, her vote was cast not for what was best for this country, but what was for best for her. She didn't give a fuck about Britain. She just wanted to make sure that there was no chance of her getting told to go home or anything along those lines, or anything approaching that, or anything. Do you know what I mean? She fell for the fear-mongering from the opposite side that was telling people would start getting kicked out and told to go home and shit.
Civilians out from there, more women and children, that this humanitarian corridor, which had some success, can let even more people leave. But on the other side, we're also seeing that, you know, the reports about how Russia is at least planning, if not already storming the factory, the plant. It's a mixed picture.
Gossip.
But it seems like
sweet as mate, he's a gay gossip.
Of the Ukrainian military there.
I'm pretty sure the first time I came across him was like GMTV, and he was doing like the showbiz news and all that, and now he's bouncing up in Great Britain news, Nigel Farage TV, pushing this pish.
It's apparently like completely horrendous conditions that they live in there, where also some people should be buried, like on the rumble, because of this bombardment that's happening on the planet.
You know what, mate? That Patrick dude, I think I've got a video
seemingly denied that
of his for next week.
Is underway, but
I'm not sure. I've got a guy that is doing what you're exactly what you're saying. I just can't remember his name.
Ukraine, because for a long time the troops have managed to hold out in Mariupol, or do you think it actually is to target some of the civilians who are sheltering there?
We don't know. But we do know,
like
Putin said like some days ago how they will not storm.
Well, I mate, as him.
I was right. Just sealed off and let them be in there, and then eventually probably they'll come out and surrender. But
right. Was anybody naive enough to think that Russia is just waking up in the morning and naively, like sort of a blindly targeting civilians for the fun of it?
To what extent? But what we do know is that. Does
anybody believe that line?
He's going against to remove these neo-Nazis or whatever he kind of labels them as. It is the people who are defending.
Well, the Azov Brigade is a genuine fucking neo-Nazi brigade that was incorporated into the National Guard, and they're called the Azov Brigade because of where they fucking came from.
To get completely control of this area.
Stefan, thank you so much.
The argument is how big and how influential they are. And I think that's a debate that's lost in the propaganda, to be honest. I don't think they're that big. I don't think there's that many of them. I don't think they're a majority. And I don't think they have that much influence. But I do believe they have been incorporated in the National Guard out of necessity. And I think people are naive not to fucking understand that shit, man.
Legal companies, accountancy firms, PR firms who might have been aiding Russian oligarchs try and avoid the sanctions. Do you think that's the right move?
Russia has oligarchs. We have the House of Lords. Roman Abramovich got all his shit stole from him for the crime of buying
the big thing being how sped up
state assets that were getting privatised and turning them into a profitable company.
It's fascinating how many companies just left Russia of their own accord when all of this
kicked off. Apply that rule
political pressure at that sort of point
to the House of Lords. How many fucking people in the know bought up all the shit in British Gas, British Telecom, Post Office? Every bit of infrastructure that the public had paid for, railways, public had paid for by their taxes, getting sold to fucking big fucking fat cats to fucking make private profits off them and get all these fucking things subsidised by the taxpayer at the same time.
But when it comes to Ukrainian refugees, we've
been found. Don't steal the House of Lords shit. That's illegal. Steal rich Russians shit. And I'm fucking a poor motherfucker. I'm no fucking fan of the rich people.
The government not to be able to step up.
I would like to think if I won the lottery, nobody would be able to steal my shit.
Things could have been done. We even saw happening across
and that's
Europe,
not the case.
Visa restrictions for a year.
All they do is need to say that you're friends with Putler and they can steal anything they want off you.
Months worth of documentation and to
whether you're friends with him or not. How do you prove you're pals with some cunt?
Get over here. A lot of these things have been tied up as we go, but the fact that
yes, well, I went to dinner, but I fucking hated the cunt.
The refugee setup is still occurring. I think it's shameful, but in a sense, we knew this was going to happen. This is the same story time and time again when it comes to the Home Office and how they deal with refugees.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I couldn't agree more.
Exactly, PG. There'll be collateral damage, as the West like to call it. There'll be missiles misfiring, missing the target, running long, running short, and no doubt civilians will die.
It's 2:32.
Just like that's a reality when the West conducts warfare. I don't believe the West bounced into Iraq and deliberately targeted civilians, but they just didn't really give a shit about the civilians because they were Machiavellian and they knew they had a job to do, and that job was to kill the enemy. And they didn't give a fuck if civilians got on the way.
Went up 3.5% last month.
And see when you're in, I can imagine. I've never been in a war zone, but I can imagine being in a war zone when you fucking get bullets flying overhead. You'll do fucking anything. Anything.
To make sure that you're going to says the measures are designed to cut off access to the UK service industry, which Russians heavily rely on.
Like, I've done an hour and a half, that's more than enough. Thanks for tuning in. You did appreciate it and you do enjoy what I do and get giggles from it. Make sure you thumbs it up to your friends and family and your foes. Help the channel and the show grow. I'll be here every day at 1 o'clock.
Ursula von der Leyen says crude oil supplies will be phased out in 6 months and refined products will be by the end of the year.
Thanks to everybody that has bounced into the chat. Martin. Elusive Exposure Media, IE Media. I don't know if you guys in the chat can click on his channel. If you can, click on his channel and check out his podcasts. He's got a few cracking podcasts there with some cracking guests that you might enjoy. His name escapes me right now. Purple Aki guy, the Scouser. Was he Scouser or Mancunian? Shit. Scouse. He was Scouser. Definitely Scouser. Try to remember back. He was a good giggle man. So check out IE Media, Elusive Exposure Media, Big Man. K9, PJ, thanks for joining, guys. Sure you stick a wee thumbs up. Luton Lion. Go back to your Tommy Robinson poster now. Alan, if you're still there, buddy, thanks for joining, mate. Shug, thanks for joining, buddy. Fucking good luck for tomorrow night, my man. And all the other folks that did join in. Hoover Dodger, how you doing, buddy? Roberto, thanks for joining, mate. And Russian symbolism, dude. Oh, this is the advert!
At home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can.
I love to read out comments, so I do.
Friday,
Why, aye, man.
on Jubes & Co.
Oh, can I rewind this,
On
please?
radio, they
Oh,
call
I
it the
can't
drive
rewind it.
time slot,
That's
4
shite,
PM
man.
until 6 PM.
Jibs
As listeners
& Co.
have it's that part of the schedule when the dust
It's the
of the
fucking
day's
funniest
events begin to
advert ever,
clarify,
man.
And we try to make
Well,
sense
yeah,
of it
man,
for
I
you.
was like, I
Frasier
just
is drive time for radio
just pop
and
down the
TV.
pub, man. Why I am,
It's
why
fast,
I man,
it's punchy,
come to my
it's
show.
opinionated, there's a Frasier angle,
We
and
look
a
at
little bit
things
of
from
levity.
both sides, so we do. We look at
That's
things from
Frasier,
Newcastle
Monday to Thursday,
and from
4 till
Sunderland,
6
so
on
we
GB
do.
News.
Why, aye, man, I wonder what my mum's cooking for
Hello,
my
I'm
tea.
Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy
Sorry.
Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday.
Come on,
right
show
here
us
on
this
GB
fucking
News for To the
Debs and
Point.
Co
We're
advert
not afraid
again,
to talk
man.
about the
They're
topics
constantly
that matter to
just
you,
running
all the big
adverts on
topics that always
this
matter.
channel.
We cover
I've recently, just the last few
absolutely
days,
from the
started
breaking
checking
political
this
stories of
shit
the
out,
day
man.
To law and order, what's going on in the channel? We're not afraid to hold people to
It's just
account.
interesting to
always
watch
make sure
Nigel
we include
Vag
your
TV
views
and
on
see
our
what they're
show.
talking
Indeed, if
about.
you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To the Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to
Nah, it's
Thursday.
went back on the loop in it, so you can tell we just missed it, bastard. But at one point I'll show you this, man. That's advert. It's so funny. And I don't mean to take the piss out the poor lassie, man, but she just sounds dumb as a fucking box of fucking crayons. Yep, I did say crayons. And it's just hilarious, man. Why, aye, man? Oh, come into my house, man. Why, aye, we'll have a cup of tea, man. Why, aye, we'll have a little Eccles cake. I'm very easily amused. But thanks, everybody. Tune in. Tomorrow's Thursday. I should do a wee pre-recorded one tomorrow. Whatnot, see what's happening. So tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Should be about have a good junior all. Oh, hold on. I've got a Skype here. Oh. All right, Alan, I just got your Skype, mate. Luton Lion. How you doing, buddy? Hopefully you're keeping well, man. I just deciphered your cryptic name. So you can get back to your Tommy Robinson poster now, buddy. Right, everybody, have a good one. I shall see you all later. Catch yous! Clips, clips! And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well in 1995! Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell! Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were smarter, the tail would wag the dog. Wag the dog in politics is the act of creating diversion from a damaging issue. Here at Wag the Dog News, the tail doesn't wag the dog. Enjoy. Clips, clip. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the bell, everything will be well. 1995! Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.